in whatever amount is needed, right? So don't feel like it's a matter of how much you go through Scripture, that, as you probably heard, it's how much Scripture goes through you. And maybe it's in songs. I know other people who, their rhythm of spiritual kind of life is about singing. And then not getting caught at like traffic stops. I don't know about that. For you, what does it look like? So now you have about a page worth of questions. And we're going to do this in the tables, I believe. This is what we've talked about. So I just want you to go through some of those questions. And let's think it's going to take about maybe 15, 20 minutes. Because this, I know timing-wise how fast I can get through the rest. What I would like to do, though, too, is there anything about what I said that you say, I would like to hear it better, or I'd like to hear it differently than what you shared before? Is it clear? Clear as mud, as we used to say in Fulton, Illinois? Clear? Okay. Go to work. Get more food. And I hope it was fruitful for you to share those stories. When I think about even hearing some of the stories around the table, they're encouragers to me, and hope once again for you. If you have something to write on, I'm going to go through leadership axioms material next. And we did this kind of in this format because obviously what you do is an outflow of your heart. And so just wanted to have these. And these axioms can sound kind of pretty direct if you don't, obviously, hopefully know a little bit more about my own heart. If there's a book that you want to highlight, would be the title, actually. Oh, I like to throw around books. Is Bill Hybels' Axioms. The idea of little proverbs that help you in terms of leadership, thoughts, directions, even impulses. I'm going to go through about 16, 17 of them. And then what the challenge is for you to actually think, I already have something in my life that I use as a simple little kind of phrase. Let me give you an example from the world of parenting. Jackie and I would be driving down the road. Our son and our daughter would be in the back seat. And we would hear things like, he's looking at me. Or her stuff is next to my stuff. You know, and my son is 25, my daughter is 17, so you can do the age math there. They are the best of friends and the worst of enemies. And for many years we had these long car drives to different places and set them in the back, and we put up the bunker between them. And but you know, because many of you have been there either in the front seat or back seat, you can remember this. So they start fighting, and we say, because we know that they want us to go to some destination, maybe Orlando, Florida, and Disney World, and we would say, if you don't stop, we're going to stop. We're going to turn this car around. Now, you know as a parent you're not going to do that. And then they would say, oh no, we love each other. And our little parenting proverb was, show it, don't just say it. You have little proverbs that you've said that helps you related to different spheres of your life. So these are kind of related to church and maybe in terms of even through a pastor's voice, but you translate them. I think when you're a ministry leader, one of the leadership axioms is to have a clear picture of the best and worst moments of ministry. When I get a volunteer, for example, who's going to become even more involved in the life of the church, I have this moment where I sometimes am really thankful, but I also do a little bit of cringing. Because if you're involved in the church, you don't just see the surface of it, sometimes you see the subterranean. The answer is people. The best ministry situations I would tell someone's going to start in children's ministry is the people. The worst is the people. When there's one parent who still won't come by to pick up their child after class, and they're always late, you got to smile, because it's kind of the same thing, so understand that. Number two, Abraham Lincoln said, believe in people as better angels, and yet he was aware of the other side of people. I think of Mark Twain, who is not a theologian, but he says, we're all like moons. We all have a dark side. Axiom number 2, little phrase we came to: bless them when they come, bless them when they leave, because you never know when they might come back. How you welcome people, how you release people, is something that's part of you need to do in terms of being a community of blessing. Now, this is related to, once again, a lot of us that I use this with pastors, church staffs, and they nod their head. They know how easy it is to bless people when they come, but blessing people when they leave, it's a little harder. But I can tell you, they come back. I can tell you that they come back in a relational world. I just helped co-officiate a funeral for a guy who really helped build our church as a building. He was there for, and I was privileged. And then people who I had not seen for 5 to 8 years came in. And how I interacted with them, I wanted them to still see that they could come back to New Life Church in the community. Axiom number 3, have as many hanging file folders as possible. For us, this is the reality of the fact that at New Life Church, and once again, that's my context for a lot of this, was that if you're a first-time guest, we invite you to fill in a welcome card. If you're a first-time guest, second time you're here, welcome. Third time, we'd like you to know if you'd like to know more about us in terms of maybe get a New Life mail slot. And we have these hanging file folders. I have no idea, I haven't checked with you, and I do not mean to step on toes. I'm just going to tell you stories, and then if they hit you, that's differently. So I was an intern resident for Orland Park Christian Reformed Church, a church that called me for about 6 months. I'm in the church office, and I hear someone call in and say, we'd like to get they're a member now, and we'd like to get a mail slot. And they had the elaborate kind of on the wall and everything like this. And as soon as this church secretary put down the phone, she groaned. Because the person who was going to come in was in the letter N. And that means you have to do all the adjustments. And I know it kind of affected not only her mentality, but even some of the other people about. And so when we started New Life Church, our idea was, boy, we want to get these people to feel that they can get information. For a number of years, I checked attendance at church by just going through the mail slots. I could tell when people had been there for a while just by that, although a lot of good, the pastors in this room probably can tell you already. But we just did hanging file folders. We had someone come and say, look, I'm a carpenter. I'd like to put up this thing on the wall. And we said no. So even though New Life Church is 16 years old, we still have hanging file folders. It's an easy way to get people in. Because basically I want it to be very easy for people to enter into community. I want it to be very hard for them to leave. So if you haven't been around New Life Church for 6 months, you still have a mail slot. And it was a way for us to help people to belong before they maybe even believed. So if they belong, they got a New Life mail slot. They're not members. I mean, the reality is that I grew up in a church where, for example, we had you had a directory, and you had crosses and stars, and some people had nothing next to their name. The cross in our church meant you were a professing member. A star meant you were a baptized member. If you didn't have anything, well, we'll pray for you. But I didn't like that system because of how it separated or identified. A good clerk can keep track of all that. Have low entry points and be as sticky as possible. That's really what we were after. Helping people connect and helping people feel like they could belong. Number 4, when you're looking to build relationships, you need to bring value to a meeting. Now that looks like an old book because that's what it is. I started a relationship with the superintendent of our local school district. It has 7,000 students in the district, which is double, really, the small town that I came from. He's the mayor. He's kind of an intimidating guy. He's retiring this year after 26 years in the system, as superintendent. I remember we just had rented from Lincoln Way High School. We were just going to be starting off, and I meet him, and this is his first words to me. So how long are you going to think you're going to be here anyway? Which I go, oh no, he's already thinking about evicting us.